President calling this a done deal, but our next guest wonders just how much the U.S. gave up to the Chinese in terms of export controls. Let's bring in Derek Scissors, Asia economist at the American Enterprise Institute. Derek, so I find it odd to say that this is going back to the Geneva framework when the rare earth issue only erupted after the Geneva framework.
There's a lot of double talk being issued now. The president says it's a done deal, but it has to be reviewed. By who? He's the president. And I agree with you. We were told that we had a deal at the Geneva framework. We never saw paper on that. Now, again, we have a deal reinforcing the Geneva framework. And apparently Secretary Lutnick doesn't want to say we're going to see any text showing what that deal is either. It looks very much like this is a temporary truce. The key event here is the Chinese saying it's 6 months of magnet exports. That doesn't mean they're going to cut them off after 6 months. It means that they're not committed to this after 6 months because they've already seen that the first deal didn't even last a month. And I think that's the way we have to understand it on the American side, even though the administration is being coy.
So who broke the original deal? This really jumped to our attention when all of a sudden the automakers were saying, we're not getting access to rare earth magnets, and those supplies had fallen by half. But that was in retaliation for what? What was it? The simple fact that we put tariffs on the Chinese? Again, this all came after the Geneva Agreement. So why did they decide to restrict rare earth magnets all of a sudden?
It's hard to know who broke the deal when there really wasn't a deal. At some point, Secretary Bessent and President Trump were talking about major Chinese reforms, and instead we get a 6-month moratorium on export controls on magnets. I think what happened was the Geneva deal was about tariffs, and we got the tariff agreement, and no one has broken it. But neither side thought it restricted their other behavior. So the U.S. has a lot of complaints about Chinese technology theft and coercive acquisition. We moved forward on some export controls, and the Chinese said, oh, okay, new front in our trade conflict. You have export controls, now we have export controls. So I don't think export controls were covered at Geneva, and now they've had to add them.